G'day and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. So looking at the Ultra League. So if you've seen a couple of my videos, you know that my team stays fairly consistent, and I make one change to sort of come in against particular threats that are seem to be cropping up more and more. And so you should probably do the same, to be honest. So as you're going through, the higher up you get, you'll start to see different Pokemon appearing more frequently. So obviously I'm sort of mid-tier, so nothing overly special, to be completely honest. So rank 8, 2291 at the moment. So the meta stuff is still pretty relevant to me. So, and anti-meta seems to be more what's getting me a few more wins these days than previously. So when you're down a little bit lower, going a straight up meta team is probably your best bet. And as you progress up the levels, you'll find more and more people start running anti-meta teams, so then you've got to deal with that. So at the moment, I'm sort of halfway between going from an anti-meta team into, I don't know, something else. Still pretty meta relevant in terms of what it is. It's nothing outlandish at the moment. So a popular choice at the moment seems to be Articuno, so that's probably worth a look in. So what to do? Probably find what your biggest weakness is, and if that's something that's losing you more matches than it's winning, then try and replace it and see the difference that makes. So go one at a time. Probably don't switch out a full team, because it does take a while to get used to charging up and swapping the right things in. Even now, as you've probably seen and we'll probably see in this video, I do make some switching errors, and this is a fairly stable team for me. So if you can keep a bit of stability in the team, that always helps. One of the biggest next biggest things to do would probably, to be honest, is to start counting moves. So just a few of the big ones in terms of what's the most common Pokemon in the meta currently. Count how many fast moves it takes to get off a charge, just because over farming that little bit can make a big difference. And if you can over farm and on fast move down your opposition, that can really help in getting those charge moves off against the next one that comes in, and not having to be panicky that you're gonna fast move too much and they're gonna get another fast move in on you. So that's probably one of the other things to sort of start looking at, particularly for me. So let's see how these 5 go. So I'm going to stick with my fairly standard team. So Swampert leading, and Togekiss and Muk in the back. We'll see how it goes. So let's see who our opponent is. So at this point, Articuno seem to be one of my biggest weaknesses. I don't have much to deal with them, and their Icy Wind is such a pain. So let's see how this goes. So what have we got? Charizard on the lead, so that's really good for me. So they should be switching out of here. So it doesn't look like they are, and they switched in time. Oh, so I did press the charge move and then I tried to switch into the wrong thing, so that's okay. So what I will do is switch into Muk, because that's what I was supposed to be doing anyway. So that's actually worked out okay for me. So this will be a frenzy plant, so it won't do too much damage to me, so that's absolutely fine. So I'll let that one go. So I'm going to do a bit of overcharging here, get to the Sludge Wave, and then I'm going to Dart Pulse and see if I can get a bit of shield bait here, and we'll see how we go. So to be honest, I don't know if they did shield, so that works out well for me. So the next one, they usually don't shield twice in a row, so taking out the Venusaur is the job of my... Oh, so that's taking me down a bit. So what I will do is get to this Sludge Wave, and oh, so I've not actually got to it, so I'm going to have to block this. So that's really awkward. That's fine. I'll get to the Sludge Wave, get this one off, and then they'll probably will block this now, shield this up, because there's no reason to shield if I hadn't been going for the Sludge Bomb. So that's an interesting move. So I'm going to switch into Swampert, which is potentially not a great move. So they'll probably be... So I'm going to shield this one because I don't know what it is. It's probably going to be a Dark Pulse, and it is. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to try and go... Well, they've got no shield, so they're going to go straight up Earthquake, which is fine. And that should, yeah, that'll take it out. So they're probably going to bring in their Charizard now. Oh no, so I forgot that they had this in the back, but that's fine. So they've got a Charizard in there, so that's going to take this out, which is fine. So I'm going to throw my, and I should have gone straight for the Sludge Wave. I didn't actually realise I had a full... Ooh, so there you go, that did take it out, so that's fine. So that's going to take this out, so throw into my Togekiss. So I'm hoping I can... Oh, so they possibly will win this game because they're going to get to 2 Blast Burns before I can get to an Ancient Power. So this is going to be a close one. Let's see what this... Oh, wow, that's a huge amount of damage. So I'd say this is good game because they're definitely going to get to a second one before I can. And that took it out. So good game on their part. So I obviously won the lead battle pretty significantly. They swapped out in time, and so that's exactly what I was talking about. Count those charge moves, because I wasted a charge move on the Venusaur there. So they burnt all that energy. So that's really good on their part. So count those charge moves and switch out if you and burn some energy. So that worked out well for them. Poor play by me, to be completely honest. Almost switched into the completely wrong Pokemon anyway, but that's a side note. So battle number 2. Let's see what we've got. So Melmetal, so that's not good for me. So what I will do is I'll stay in though, because they'll probably switch out. What are they switching into? So to be honest, I don't really know where to go from here. They're going to overfarm a lot, so I'm going to have to shield this. They're probably baiting me with a Hydro Cannon, but if they're running an Earthquake, yeah, so they Hydro Cannoned. So the next one will probably be an Earthquake, or they could just straight up double. Ooh, so they could go for the double fake here. So they did overcharge a lot, so I'm going to shield it as well. If it is the Earthquake, happy days. If it's not, then nah. So they've double baited there with the Hydro Cannon, which is fine. People do. So somehow I did not get first priority, so they've got their, I think, yeah, so this is absolutely ridiculous. So they've managed to... I'm hoping I can charge that down, which I can. So they're going to bring out their Melmetal, obviously. See what they've got. So I'm just going to Hydro Cannon this and try and get this out. So this is probably good game because I've got no shields. They've got 2. And I've got a Melmetal in the back, so probably the only way I can possibly win this is if I manage to Hydro Cannon this down without it getting a shot at me, and then swapping into my Togekiss to take the charge move. So I can't do that though because they've just shielded. So that is 1 shield gone for them. Let's see. So Dynamic Punch, that's almost took me straight out, so I might as well just go straight for another Hydro Cannon. So this is not looking good at all, so I would say they should let this go. So I'm going to swap out and hope I can get... So that's hopefully good. Let's hope that's another Dynamic Punch. It's Rock Slide, so that's just gone horribly for me. So if I can get the Flamethrower off, which I can't, so it's all just gone poorly. So not gone well. So no health left on the Swampert, straight down. So couldn't get to the flamethrower, wouldn't have made a difference, let's be honest. So they just had good counters there for, yeah, is what it is. So next battle, let's give this a go. So again, running with the Swampert in the lead. So I probably, well, there I should have stayed in with my Swampert against theirs, but I had nothing in the back. So let's see how this goes. So Swampert v Snorlax. So Snorlax has got some serious bulk. We'll see if they switch out or they stay in. So they're staying in with the Snorlax. Let's just give it a few extras. And that's going to be the Body Slam, which is fine. So they may want to have got one Body Slam off and then switched out. So they're not switching, so that's fine. So I'm just going to start putting on some pressure here and just straight up Hydro Cannon. So I'm going to do a couple of these and just see what they do. So they've shielded the first one, that's fine. So I'm going to shield go straight into the second one. So it's interesting they're not switching to see what they've got in the back. So I will have to block their next move, which is fine. I will do that just to keep myself in the game. So I will shield that. So I might go straight up for an Earthquake. Don't know whether that's... Oh, so they've swapped out now. So I am going to switch into my Alolan Muk. So that's good for me, except for they probably will have Dynamic Punch here. I think that's a bit quick to have got a Dynamic Punch off, and it's not, obviously. So it does do a fair bit of damage there. So I'll just have to give it another go. So if I can take this out, it leaves me in an alright position. So I will have to shield the next one, which is unfortunate. If I can get to this before they can get to their Dynamic Punch, it will help, and that'll give me a thought on whether I bother shielding or not. And then we go from there. So that gets him down, but how close? So the question is, do I shield or do I not? So I think I'm going to let this go. So I'm going to fast move farm this one down because they're not going to get to another charge move. So we'll see what they've got in the back. So they've got a Scizor, which is not ideal. So I'm going to go straight for that Earthquake. And I swapped into their attack, which is really annoying because now I have to shield it. That's really frustrating. That's fine though. Had to shield. No other choice there. Because you want to get this Earthquake off. We'll do a nice bit of damage to him. Oh, and was within range, so that's even better. So let's see what this one's got. So, and now it's down to Togekiss versus Snorlax. So let's see what its move is. If it's the Heavy Slam, I'll be fine. A Body Slam should be fine, so I should be able to absorb that and get my charge move off. So I don't know how much stored energy they've got in that Snorlax, so they could be getting to a Body Slam pretty quickly. I want to get to and I want to try and get the fast move farm down, so that would have been really close to getting another one off. So there we go, happy days, got the win through. So got lucky there. A bit unfortunate with my swapping in a Swampert into the charge attack. They may have seen the swap in and just gone straight for it, but I had the shield, so did okay there. So let's run that lot again and see how we go. So throwing out Swampert for the lead, let's see how that works out. So it's been okay so far. Oh, so Swampert into Steelix, so they should be swapping out here straight away, which they do, into Mewtwo, which will mean that I swap straight into my Alolan Muk. So again, they're probably going to be running that Dynamic Punch, but that's fine. I'm going to let that first one through. Oh, so they were baiting for that. So that's really good for me. So I will throw this Dark Pulse. So I'll probably let the next one through as well, because if they decide to bait again, then that's fine. And if I'm not currently within range, so that's fine. So I managed to get this second one, Dark Pulse, off, so they should shield here, otherwise they would be taken out, which is fine. So I think I might let this go, because I'm not sure whether I am in range anyway, even if it is the... Oh, so it's another Psy Strike, so that's even better. So managed to, and I should be able to take this out because they won't shield here. Absolutely no point. I could have farmed down a bit more, to be honest. Oh, so they've blocked, they've shielded there. So what have they got in the back? So again, I'm not going to shield. So I'll let that Psy Strike take me out. So I'm going to bring in my Mewtwo and farm down, so get a huge amount of energy. See what they come out with. So they'll possibly be coming out with... Yeah, so of course they're coming out with Giratina. So what I should have done, because they just did not want to swap in, which is fine. So I'm going to start shielding. So I'm going to store up some energy here. So I'll get another one of these. So I was thinking about swapping into my Togekiss, but I won't actually need to. So this is gonna... It gets energy so quickly, and Snorlax is a real... Steelix is a real hard wall against... So I'll shield this up. So Steelix is a real hard wall against Giratina, but it takes so long to charge energy, and is such a bad move against pretty much everything else. So it'd be good against Togekiss as well, because it's steel typing, but good game there. Good game from me. So I got lucky there with the lead, and then the swap in as well, because I had a real hard counter. They obviously weren't running Dynamic Punch on the Mewtwo, so maybe can't afford the candy to get dual move it. So I got really lucky there. So run this team again, we'll see how we go. And so, as you can see, the teams start to get a little bit more off meta and looking to counter those big meta picks. So this one, I don't know. So I might actually stay in for this and hope they switch out, which they possibly won't. So what I'm going to do is switch into my Muk. So this will be a Dragon Claw. So it's not ideal, but they'll probably switch out, which is fine, because I've still got the... Oh, so that's brutal. What a switch. So, you know what? I'm going to let this go. Thankfully I did, because it was just the power-up punch. So what I'm going to do is... I'll completely leave this. So they're going to throw another power-up punch. Oh no, so I got to there first, so they'll probably throw another power-up punch now, just to... So they're shielding everything, so which is fine. So I'm going to let this go. I'm going to hold on to these for... Oh, so that's still not taking me out. So this is fighting in... Is it steel? So the question is, do I throw in here and go straight for Earthquake? So this is a big call, because I'm not sure whether this is a steel type or a fight. Yeah, so it's fighting in steel, which is good for me. So I'm going to swap out into So this will really test what the next one is. So we'll shield this because it could be the Ancient Power, which it probably is. They should have enough energy for the Ancient Power. Yeah, and they do. And they'll probably now switch out, which they have, which is fine. So this is not an ideal situation for me to be in, but I'm going to let this go. I'm going to shield. So this is probably a poor call. I probably should have flamed and not used the shield. Yeah, so definitely should have flamed there. So that's a mistake on my part. So I'm not going to make it to another flame. Let's see if I can get to this Ancient Power, and I do. So I'm hoping that we CMP tied there, and I can farm the rest down. So they're going to pull the trigger here, surely. So they didn't. That's an interesting move. So we're now, if I can get there, come on. So this is going to be really close to being within range for this Giratina. We'll see how we go. If it's not within range, I think that we're going to be close. Come on. Oh, so that must have been so close. So that's a really good game there. So didn't play that particularly well, but managed to sneak the win in there. So that's good. So pretty poor first two games. Pulled it back with the last three. So I'm going to have to re-look at that and see how he went there. A few poor choices. That first game in particular was really bad. The second game, they just, let's be honest, they clearly outplayed me there, so good game to them. The next three were fairly close. Well, two of them were really close games. That last one was really close, so they would have been mashing their charged button as well, because I reckon they would have would have had to have been so close to being able to throw that Dragon Claw. But all good games there. And it's sort of 3-2, so I'm happy with that. It should still, it should still boost me up in terms of my ranking, so it should get me up close to, it gets me exactly 2300, which is nice. I thought I'd be just under. So that gets me up to 2300, which is nice. But then I've got to look to see whether I keep that team or change anything up. So the one I'm thinking about changing up now, so I was thinking about Giratina, but I was also thinking about swapping in my my Togekiss and bringing in a steel type. So I'm still tossing that up. So I'll probably have a few more games running this lineup, see if there's anything that's really caning me, and if any of my three are my real weaknesses. At the moment, I think my weaknesses are my inability to swap quickly and not counting moves. So they're two things that I'll look at improving on. So that's it for now. So running those set of threes worked out pretty well. 3 and 2. Probably got away with one on that last game, to be completely honest, but happy with that. So 3 and 2. Thanks very much for watching. Have a good one. Bye for now.